Dredd is a 2012 science fiction action film directed by Pete Travis and written and produced by Alex Garland. Karl Urban stars as Judge Dredd, a law enforcer given the power of judge, jury, and executioner in a vast dystopic metropolis called Mega City 1 that lies in a post-apocalyptic... Wow. What an absolute cracking movie this one's going to be. Been looking forward to doing this for quite some time. Tonight on Just Great Movies, we're looking at Dredd from 2012, starring, Karl Urban as Judge Dredd. That guy was born to play this role. He was absolutely fantastic in this film. Also stars Olivia Thirlby, also Lena Headey. You might remember her from Game of Thrones. Had a whopping budget of $45 million, but only made $41.5 million back at the box office. Joining me tonight are Judges Vex, Judges Z, and Judge Gord. Hello, everybody. Welcome tonight.
Hello there.
Hello.
Evening, judges.
And how are we doing tonight?
I'm excited, man. I like this movie a lot. As I was explaining backstage, I did a complete 180 on this in a week, so I really like this movie.
It's gritty. I like that because the 1995 Stallone Judge Dredd is just popcorn crap. It's soft around the edges, while the vistas of Mega City 1 were more on point than this film. Mm-hmm. The thing that this film has, it has that edge of grittiness, of lawlessness in a city of 800 million, where there's 17,000 serious crimes a day. Crikey. Judge Z, what are your initial thoughts on this one?
Wow, it sounds a bit like Los Angeles right about now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they could probably use some Dredd justice. What do you think?
You never know. Maybe there is a Fargo in the works somewhere.
No, we can only hope.
Eustace Fargo. What a name. No, seriously, that was Judge Fargo's first name, Eustace.
It most certainly was.
It was.
Really?
Indeed. Yeah. Born to very wealthy and affluent parents. His dad was a judge, and of course he wanted to follow suit. He was also a college football star.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Yeah. The more you know. And joining us for the first time on the channel, welcome Judge Gord.
Hello. I'm feeling positively just, and I didn't bring my helmet because it gets in the way of my psychic abilities.
Well, yeah, that's Judge Anderson's reasoning, and she's going to stick with it. Right. I really like that intro. Ooh, crikey. That really looked the business. We'll get down to it. Let's start with our slides. Thank you to Not Brian for doing these slides. They are incredible. Really am impressed. And I noticed the title for Dredd has an inconsistency in font. The font used on the DVD and packaging and everywhere else and movie posters is different to the one used in the film, which is weird.
Is it actually?
Odd choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to look this up. Hold on. On the DVD, you said it's different?
Yeah.
Dredd 2012 DVD. Okay. Oh, wow. You're right.
Yeah. I did actually have the font on my system. So when I did the thumbnail for the video, I used the correct font because I'm like that. I'm anal enough to research what the font is.
I do this too.
Well, you've got... Thing is, though, if you've got an eye for detail and you want to get it right, you've got to go that extra mile, haven't you?
That's a good point.
You most certainly have. And the infamous Aspen Penal Colony does not feature in this movie.
I know. Did you write Rocky?
No.
A quick shout out to everybody in the chat tonight. Let's see. Destron Solar, hello you. Franco's not very well tonight, so he had to bail quite early. Gavin Blackburn's there. Badfoot, Lord Toxic, Sword in the Storm, Paul Dickinson, MC, Movie Master 222. Who else is in there? Mog. Hello, Mog. I think Mog likes you, Z.
I like Mog. He's so gentle and soft.
Hello, Mog.
Nice.
And his hands have never seen a hard day's work.
Hello to Atom Gray in the chat. I just thought I'd mention this because I didn't last week and I got told off by Atom Gray. B-Sides are the official sponsor of Just Great Movies. So
wow.
I'll be running a trailer, possibly two, during the transmission tonight. RRTNZ, hello there, mate. Not seen you for a while. And who else? Manum. Not Brian. Well, I love going through the chat. That's pretty much it. If you've got anything, any thoughts about this movie, let me know, and I will stick them up on the screen. What did you think to this film, chat? Is it better or is it not as good as the 1995 Stallone? Did you like Rocky version of Judge Dredd? Mog says waffle stomper. Yes, this is true. I learnt that when I used to appear on another channel. Anyway, this is quite an interesting opening shot of this film. This is Mega City 1. While it hasn't got that cramped, really sort of Fifth Element, claustrophobic feel of Mega City 1 from the 95 film, I still think this is quite impressive. But to me, this is the only thing that lets this film down, is the inaccuracy in Mega City 1. What do you think, Z?
Yeah, it should absolutely be a sprawling metropolis without room to breathe or fly.
Yeah, it should be rammed to the hilt.
Absolutely rammed to the hilt. These were the last survivors of an atomic war. They should be packed into one area and slowly spreading outwards like a cancer. Whereas this just seems like open. I mean, there's so much difference between the large blocks. You would never get a block wall here, would you?
No, there's not close enough. And it's not, it's breathable. You know, Mega City 1 has got to be, you basically chewing on somebody else's breath. It's that packed.
Yeah, I mean, you've only got weather control keeping out the outside elements, which you still got an atomic wasteland in a cursed earth just on your doorstep. It is quite the job.
After you guys had, sorry, go ahead and read that.
It's all right. Tom says, saw it in 3D, loved it. Movie Master 222, it's a different. Original, it's more campy and comic booky. Dredd is more brutal and realistic. True. Atom Gray says, no comparison between the two movies. Movie Master 222 also says both have their merits. Tom quite rightly says, yes, it does make Stallone's film look a bit of a debacle. And Sword in the Storm with his take, if you could combine both movies, you would get run. Yeah, I agree with that.
100%.
That is on point. That is on point. Well done, mate.
And don't say that you can't compare these two movies. You certainly can. Even the opening, they start with a monologue establishing a bit of world building before you get straight into the movie.
Definitely.
I always, because after we did Judge Dredd last week, and that was my first watch of it and everything, I kind of came to the conclusion that perhaps the reason why they adapt Mega City 1 the way they do in this is not just for kind of the more grounded and gritty take, but also just kind of a filming limitation. So I imagine to get the same kind of sets and everything they wanted, the budget would have inflated a little bit too much to their liking. And they filmed this in Johannesburg, right? So I figure that's why, and they focus more, and that's why there's so much more focus on building up the blocks as a contained version of what that sprawling city should actually look like in the comics.
Gavin Blackburn says, I can, just one second, Gord. Gavin Blackburn says, I can forgive some things due to the limited budget. Sloan had a huge budget and a studio behind it and still whizzed it down at a translate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. Judge Gord, your take?
I was going to say, I guess one thing I like about the shot, because I can see y'all's point of view on what this, I guess, could have looked like, but I do like that this, you know, for one thing, it almost is evocative of like looking at a line of crops or something like that, which kind of works for this shot. But at the same time, there's something very like disorganized and ugly and gnarly about what's in the backdrop here that I think it's a decent tone setter. I mean, I tend to agree when you get into the city, it would make more sense to be a lot more crammed, you know, have kind of more of like almost like a Blade Runner feel. But yeah, I can kind of go both ways for both ideas. I guess.
Minimum says, what was the budget for this one? It was 45 million totally. I did mention that at the beginning of the stream. Box office wise, only made 41.5 back. Other comments, definitely not a gator says, Dredd has more mystique or sci-fi characters like the Dark Judges.
Mhm.
Yeah, true. Gavin Blackburn, you tit, says, can we hear the panel's judges' voices?
Oh.
And just one quickie, Badfoot says, this is violence. Stallone's was lame. Yes, it was. I think this is more true to the vision of what Wagner and Ezquerra had in mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I certainly think so. It's a more gritty and grounded version, whereas the Judge Dredd with Stallone is more of a sci-fi comedy and not a very good one at that.
Well, we did
Well-
bring this up last week that Stallone thought it was an action comedy.
Yep.
And that's why he just continually said, "Did you like Rocky?" at everybody who was above him. And he messed that film up. He made it about him, as usual. A fucking ego. Muscly
Unfortunate.
ego with a little dick.
Mhm.
Anyway, first time I watched this, and this was in the cinema in 3D. And I'd looked at it and I thought, crikey, this reminds me of like Chappie and Elysium, that kind of feel to it. And I thought it's got that very South African theme to it. And lo and behold, Johannesburg and Cape Town, there were shots filmed in both locations.
Mhm.
But the opening of the film, we get a really sort of like good establishing shot of Mega City 1 and its huge gigantic wall to separate it from the cursed earth. And just look at that. I mean, I like these like mega tower blocks. And if you look closely at some of the names, there's Ezquerra, there's Wagner, quite a few others as well.
Sternhammer, Wolf,
Yeah.
Strontium Dog.
Where's Johnny Alpha Tower? Have we got one of those in there, Z?
It's the little one just below Wolf.
Ah, I see.
Are these all references?
Yeah, to characters and people who were involved with 2000 AD.
Okay, gotcha.
Ah.
That's clever. I like that.
Like Easter eggs for the long time.
For the nerds.
Yeah.
For the hardcore nerds. But anyway, there was a drone flying around, and there's a lot of civil unrest within Mega City 1. And like you said, very much like LA at the moment. MC says, very Neil Blomkamp. Blomkamp would do brilliantly if he made a second film starring Karl Urban. That would just be awesome.
Yes.
So, drone cam live feeds of Sector 42. I like this. Lots of like references to CCTV and facial recognition. Very apt in our modern day. And look at that. Have you seen that one, Z? Another Easter egg there.
Sector 17, Justice Department.
No, Fergie.
Oh, the Fergie Memorial.
Yeah.
Oh, the Sector 17 Justice Department is the pit,
Oh,
which is one of the worst sectors to be a judge in.
interesting.
Yeah. I like how they've like repurposed footage of riots in South Africa and put like judges, put the logo on the back of this truck.
I was just thinking because like there is quite a bit of like VFX in this film, but it's not very overt. Like it's very subtle in most scenes. So I'm also just thinking in terms of having a more spread out Mega City 1. If you were to cram those opening shots with even more kind of CG and VFX, it would look a little bit corny. You know what I
Probably.
mean? Like it's at least with only kind of the mega city blocks, you get that nice balance of, oh, I know that there isn't a lot of space here, but I also know that it's a bit chaotic, which is I guess why Johannesburg is kind of a good filming ground. It did a great job for setting in was it District 17? They had to do the same
I
thing,
was
right?
just about to say that, yes.
Yeah.
It's got that feel to it though, hasn't it?
Was it District 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that would be just really, really crazy, wouldn't it? Stun gas as well, Z. I like it.
Oh, nice
Attention to
reference.
detail. Anyway, let's get cracking, shall we? Skulls included. Look at this. A big hint there to facial recognition.
Hmm.
Block riot in progress. Hang on a minute. Hang on. We need block war, not block riot. Come on.
Well, they're so
Ah,
far apart, they just can't be asked to walk over.
yeah. So this is the Hall of Justice in this film.
Hmm.
And I love that logo, Z.
It's lovely, isn't it?
I think you should have that tattooed on your left bum cheek.
Oh,
Oh.
no. I've got the Last Dredd film on my right arm.
Gives a
Oh.
new meaning to bum us, Z.
It
Yeah.
does.
Oh my
I
God.
tell you
All of these-
something, at least you got the tattoo on the correct arm.
Right.
All of these scenes of the city are all intercut with Dredd getting his clothes on.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that bit where he's loading up his lawgiver.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
ID okay, DNA okay. But it doesn't talk, does it, this gun?
Just if you could go back one slide, please.
Yeah,
I
sure.
do like that this film very clearly establishes the Hall of Justice and what they're supposed to stand for. The opening of Judge Dredd doesn't do a good job of establishing the judges as a for lack of a better term, like a lawful threat to the unruly citizens. So just knowing that there's this giant structure with this logo that represents everything that is lawful good is a great tone setter for the transition into these scenes of Karl Urban getting dressed in his judge outfit.
Yeah. Well, in the canon and lore of Judge Dredd, after the President Booth fiasco, the judges became basically the government.
Oh,
Every tier and every facet of these people's lives is controlled by the justice system.
dang.
We don't have
Also
time
like
to go into the President Booth storyline, do we, Z?
No, not at all. We'll leave Bad Bob out of this.
He was very charming, though, was Bob.
He was.
That's why they kept bringing Fargo out of cryo, didn't they? Every 10 years.
Warm him up. Let him
Yeah.
run about for a bit. Put him back in.
Treat him like Ripley from Aliens. But I like this when he's suited up. Fair enough, he's not got the shoulder pads. And I did notice, if you look very carefully at his suit, the pads are actually green, but they're that dirty and worn in. You can't actually make it out. These suits are just gritty and grotty as hell.
They are.
Yeah.
They're lifted and dirty, unlike the Stallone suits, which are all shiny and bright.
Prim and proper.
This is something that he uses every day, and you can see
Yeah.
it. It's got deep down dirt in it. I won't be surprised if half it's covered in blood most of the time.
Drokk.
Stallone's costume looks kind of cosplay.
Yeah.
Well, it was designed by Versace, wasn't it?
That explains it, to be fair. Yeah.
So we get a first look of criminality in Mega City 1. These boys are enjoying the latest thing to hit Mega City 1, a brand new drug called Slo-Mo, which slows down brain activity to 1/10 of its normal speed, so you experience things in slow motion. It's more addictive than crack and KFC, and people are loving it. But we get a crime in progress. The lucky judge happens to be Dredd. But look at that Lawmaster, Z. What do you reckon to
It's
that?
absolutely lovely, isn't it? And Karl Urban insisted that he ride it.
He
Yes,
did.
he did.
And on all the shots where he's on that bike, it's not a stunt double.
No.
It's
It is
actually
Karl
Karl
Urban.
Urban. Yeah. That is just...
One of the two things he stipulated. The other one was he doesn't remove his helmet at all.
Yep. Yeah, in between takes, he would still keep his Dredd voice and his helmet on. So nobody ever saw him out of character on the set of this film.
Can you imagine Karl Urban saying to somebody, "Did you write Rocky?"
I'm more imagining him saying, "Time for some urban pacification."
Yeah.
This is one of the things that took me out of the Mega City 1 vibe as well.
Yeah, Volkswagen.
Yeah, it's a gas-powered car.
Yeah.
So it looks so out of place in a city that's supposed to have mopeds, which are giant living accommodations on wheels and floating hover cars. This just seems a little bit...
Judge Dredd, the Stallone version, that actually got it right in terms of the aesthetic and designs of vehicles and whatnot. I mean, look, for God's sake, there's an American school bus there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. So hold on. Is that so? I guess in the original lore, gas-powered vehicles don't exist anymore because there's nowhere to extract gas. Essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because there's no resources, is there? There's no.
Yeah.
It's post-apocalyptic after 2 nuclear wars.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're all atomic powered, and most of them can fly vehicles now.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Which reminds me of the Apocalypse War storyline with the Sovgov, if you remember, Z.
mhm.
Because was it Booth what caused us? Yeah, Booth caused a nuclear war, didn't he? And
He
then there
caused
was
one, and then Orlok disabled the city through its water supply and brought about the Second Apocalypse War.
yeah. But I
Dang.
just love that. So anyway, you've got your atypical criminal who's off his tits on Slo-Mo, and he's taking pot shots at Dredd. Not doing very well, but yeah, that Volkswagen takes you out of the feel of the movie. So anyway, some bloke's just crossing the road. He gets hit. An innocent's just been wiped out. I loved Urban's dialogue when he was reporting that. So he says, I'm going to take him out. So he starts shooting away on his lawmaster, which I thought was great. Takes the back tyres out. They tip over and crash. But there's a survivor. So there's a little bit of a maul to one side and everybody's screaming. So that's a big giveaway. Somebody's in there with a shooter. And in a noodle bar, the guy who was shooting at Dredd through the van window is taken a hostage.
It's
And
Vasquez.
Pardon?
What? I thought it was Vasquez from Aliens for a second.
No. It's not Jeanette Goldstein. I thought that was Jimmy Somerville to start with.
What,
Looks
the
like
gun?
it, doesn't
like
it?
Not the hostage, the guy with the gun.
Yeah, the guy with the
I
gun.
know, I know.
Yeah, and he says to him, he says, if you let the hostage go, you'll only get life in an ISO cube without parole. Which I thought was a really good line. So atypical Judge Dredd. Oh, but look at that lawgiver. Whoa.
One of the best modern movie guns. It's so cool.
I
Yeah.
have one. It's lovely.
And it's got OLED display on the side. It has. If you look.
Yeah.
Yes.
The brand new lawgiver now with LED screens.
Yeah.
The top of the
Developed
range.
by Nintendo.
Right.
Oh my God, I've just seen a really cool comment. Jimmy Somerville. According to Drew Gordon, Jimmy Somerville was in Lex. I'm very, very hungry, Stan. That was a weird show.
The top of the line cosplay lawgivers, they've got their own OLED screens. They've got all the same functions as this one has. They're really cool to see up close.
Wow.
I like it when he says, hot shot, and he goes, what did you say? I said, take it easy. Hot shot. Just so he can give the lawgiver an ammo instruction.
I do appreciate that basically all of the lines that you would expect to be corny because of what they are. When Urban delivers them, you take them seriously. It actually kind of sends a little bit of a chill down your spine because whenever Stallone did it, he had that fucking he had that freaking lisp.
One's allowed,
right? He had that lisp, and it just like the cartoonishness of the world, and then how the characters would interact. It completely undercut how deadly and threatening Dredd was supposed to be to the
Definitely.
bad guys.
One of the Dredd signatures in the comics is his downturned mouth. And Karl Urban's got it off to a T. Every delivery he's got, the downturned mouth is there, giving the stern, disapproving look. Like he is definitely better than you.
And Stallone looked like he'd had a mouth avalanche on one side.
Imagine that gun trying to understand him speak. It's like, shut, and it's like, excuse me?
Did you like Rocky? Ref says, hello to Ref in the chat. Imagine if they kept the comic version of the lawgiver. Now, I reckon you're the man for the job for this one, Z. What do you say?
I didn't like the Mark I lawgiver. It was horribly tubey, and it had a little dial on the top, like Mean Machine, which you could select one of 6 rounds from. Lawgiver Mark II, which I think this is based on, is definitely the superior model, and I love the voice activation.
Yeah, I noticed how they kept in line with the DNA and whatnot.
Yeah, but obviously that's only to activate the gun, which will come into play later.
Yes, we'll see that a little bit later on. But look at him there. He is Dredd.
Absolutely, heart and soul. And he said
Yeah.
if they're ever making a sequel, they want to make a TV series, he'd come back in a heartbeat.
Well, Amazon are supposed to be, and it's supposed to be in pre-production. They're going to make a TV adaptation starring Karl Urban. He said he wants first refusal at the role, but they've told him he's got to finish doing The Boys before he does anything else. So he says hot shot, fires a hot shot, takes the guy out, and I like how his face just melts from the inside out.
Oh yeah,
He looks like his head's a Malteser, and somebody's been sucking it.
looks like a Christmas light a little bit.
It's one of
Yeah.
those moments where I
Yeah.
wish I'd seen this in 3D.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same.
I'm lucky I've got a 3D DVD player, Blu-ray player, sorry.
Oh wow, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
3D
Hmm.
Blu-ray.
Fancy schmancy over here.
Yeah, yeah. And I like how Karl Urban's character says stuff like, send a wagon out to this location and also a recyc team. That is exactly that's verbatim from 2000 AD, isn't it, Z?
Yeah, it's they recycle the corpses into functional chemicals, which we can reuse later.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't waste
Well,
anything in
nothing
Mega
goes to
City 1.
waste. No. Yeah, each body has got valuable chemicals that can be used.
And
Dang.
look at that. They've got a road sweeper machine. What comes in and just sweeps the blood away. Doesn't do a very good job in that particular scene. But
No.
Oh, wouldn't have thought so.
oh,
No,
look,
probably just
there's the
smears it
token
off around.
fatty who's dead.
I do appreciate this is just such a small scene, but again, sets the tone really well. Like everyone just is kind of out for their own. This
Yeah,
isn't a rare occurrence.
it's a harsh world to live in.
Yeah, this is just how life is post-apocalypse in Mega City 1.
So
also
go on, Gord. Sorry.
I was gonna say I also like the fact that when he saves this woman's life, you learn about his character because he saves her and he really doesn't interact with her. It's just that's his job. So
Mhm.
it's not. It makes you ask yourself, is he really that concerned with saving citizens, or is it just about enforcing the law?
It's just another day in paradise for Dredd. So this is Judge Anderson. Well, rookie Judge Anderson. And she's telepathic. Doesn't wear a helmet because it blocks her abilities to be able to read minds. And she's looking at a photo of her family, which kind of gave me that vibe. Is she a clone because she's looking at a photo of herself as a child with her parents?
Well, do you think they're going to go to a lab later and have the parents removed, find out she's sitting on the middle of a bench in a laboratory?
Well, I'm just thinking, cadets are 5 years old when they're taken to the Hall of Justice.
Oh,
She
yes,
looks
but the-
older than 5 in that picture.
The PSI judges are later because they don't discover their use until later on when their abilities start to manifest.
Ah. So there's Olivia Thirlby as, is it Cassandra?
Cassandra Anderson.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
I thought it was. And I hate to say, was this a DEI hire? But Chief Justice, I didn't recognize the character.
Oh,
No.
this is an actual character?
I don't know. She seems to have the uniform of a judge tutor.
I
Yeah,
just
but
kind of
she's
figured
the Chief Justice in this. He calls her that.
Oh.
I figured this was just because they were filming in South Africa, so they used a lot of South African doubles. That's at least what I know. Or sorry, not doubles, but hires. That's at least what they said for a lot of the background actors on this. So,
Yeah. And she's only described in the credits as chief judge, so it seems kind of just like a generic
Yeah.
placement.
Yeah, I just thought it's a bit weird that why couldn't they have had somebody as Griffin or Fargo or somebody who was an established character? Drew Gordon says gender swapped Silver. Possibly.
to be fair, I could kind of understand just because of the way this world ends up playing out, and the film again. It's a very self-contained story. There isn't much need to introduce all of these other judge characters, especially when it wasn't set in stone whether this would get a sequel. So, like, in a way, it cuts a lot of ties of the what ifs or extra bloat by just leaving that up to imagination and solely focusing on Dredd's little adventure here within Peach Trees.
Yeah.
There's no need for it to there's no need to get any more extra because the contained story alone does so much legwork.
Yeah. I like that. I like the aesthetic of the buildings and whatnot. I think that's very on point for the genre, but they're not close enough together. If they were literally, 10 meters apart from each other,
Yeah.
that would be the real feeling and the vibe in Mega City 1. That's why you've got block wars, because everybody's on top of each other.
Quite literally, yes. And it's a bit like China in that respect. They've got things so cramped together. They've got many different walkway levels. So you have
You're on about Hong Kong.
Oh, Hong Kong, yeah, where you start at the bottom, but then 25 stories up, there's another set of walkways which is connected via different buildings, and it's like really weird.
They have
Mega
those
City one's supposed to be like that, not like
they've got like a 44,000 person apartment complexes in China now. That's like they're literally self-contained mini cities. Like if you go into them, because they have their own grocery stores, their own waste facilities, they have little, like appliance stores and everything. They're that big.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, this is our first shot of Madeline Madrigal, known locally as Mama. She's a gang leader, and it's explained earlier on because they actually go into not fantastic depth, but just enough for you to, take this film credibly. How Mama rose to power within Peach Trees. How she started from the top down, and you got the what was it? Something judges and oh crikey, there was 4 gangs initially, and she took them all out.
Oh, yes, and they show with that
The
diagram
judge.
later.
Yeah, but look at this. Mama's on Slo-Mo in the bath. And this in 3D was awesome because, the vibrancy of the colors and the way they did it. It's just fantastic. And the makeup team did a really great job here because Lena Headey, she's quite an attractive lass.
Very, yes.
And they made her look really scarred up. Like you could tell she'd been a hooker for a long time. Melvin deeply says she's a Glasgow 8. Let me see that on the screen. Trust you, Melv. Chief Melv deeply. Oh dear. And what does Ref say? These slow-mo scenes are why I regret not watching this in theatre. Oh, telling you something. This was fantastic in 3D. It really was something.
And not even just for the visual. Yeah. And not even just for the visual. The sound design in this movie is excellent, and it really shines in those scenes.
To hear that on a 7.1 system, it's fantastic.
Ugh.
I mean, especially they've got quite, that feeling and the experience of seeing it in a cinema. It doesn't compare. I mean, you can watch it at home and be comfy and whatnot, but you never get that rush like you do when you're watching something that you've wanted to watch.
Agreed, on a big screen. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
But
well, anyways,
that was one of the reasons that the movie failed. Is 98% of the theaters that were showing it in 3D, and not everybody wanted it in 3D because it comes with a massive uplift.
Yeah, I remember when this came out I don't like watching movies in 3D. They give me a headache. So anytime a film came out in 3D, I avoided it. And Dredd was one of those ones that was only coming out in 3D in Ontario. So
I specifically went to see this because it was in 3D. Because of the clips that were shown on TV and the critics at the time saying, you've got to experience these scenes. Because the way that it's shot, the slow-mo effect, and the enhanced colours, and because the colour grading on this, whoever did the colour grading, genius, because it is sublime. So anyway, some ding-dongs have been stupid enough to sell Slo-Mo on Mama's turf. So she wants to set an example. So they all give them a blast of Slo-Mo and chuck them over from floor 200.
This is diabolical. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that splat, it's guttural, isn't it? When they hit the concrete. Oh man.
But oddly, but it's funny because it's toned down from what it would really look like. They would be unrecognizable as people, but it's very effective all the same. Especially just the psychological aspect of knowing that like they were skinned and thrown, so the fear and the pain. Who knows how long that felt like it lasted.
And the arrogance of Mama to say, I can get away with this in my own block.
Mm.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, you're not going to argue with her anyway. So this comes up, Sector 13, there's a crime. And we see the base of the Hall of Justice there. And there's Dredd and Anderson loading up on Lawmasters. Oh, she's actually wearing a helmet for a change. Boy, has she got a helmet. But anyway, off to Peachtree's they go. Dredd says, I'll take this one. So this is the south entrance. Look at that. People with deck chairs, lawn chairs, outside the place. Just enjoying a day out outside their own block.
Mm.
But
I
yeah,
never
again,
noticed this detail
Let me get
before.
it's too open. What do you reckon, Z?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these streets should be absolutely packed with people.
Mm.
I mean, would it really have hurt to have got a load more extras in? Use some of the crew. Fill it out.
Definitely. Homeless junkie will debase self for credits.
Well, we've all been there.
You might have.
Times were hard on the Lance Homestead.
Oh dear, speak for yourself.
I've only ever reached the debase someone else for credit stage.
You might find out a little bit later on that might be a really bad spot to crash. And he says, hey, you better not be here when I get back. And what did they say 15 years in an ISO cube, Z?
I think it was, or 20, something that. No, 5 years. Was it 3 for vagrancy? I'm not sure.
I think it was 3. Like it was something really low, but it was still ridiculous.
Low, yeah. I think it was 3 years for vagrancy from Anderson.
Yeah, it was comparatively low, but I mean, it's probably it's much stiffer than how we would really treat vagrancy. But compared to all the other sentences we see thrown around, it's not nearly as bad.
I've seen some pretty harsh sentences chucked out in 2000 AD for the most ridiculous of crimes over the years. Some of the earlier progs were more vicious than the modern progs.
Yeah, very much so.
But here we go. There's like their version of CSI there. Olivia Thirlby, she's a bit of an odd duck. I can't tell whether she's... How can I say this without it coming out wrong? Because the autistic me will get this wrong. But, I can't quite make my mind up. Is she gorgeous or is she just pretty or...
Yeah, I mean, Anderson in the comics, when she had her first introduction, she had long, wavy blonde hair. She was a proper bombshell. I think the hairdressing choice here is aesthetically designed to look like she's a rookie approaching the end of her academy career. Before you're allowed to let yourself go. Because when Anderson was introduced in comics, she wasn't a rookie; she was already a well-established psychic judge.
Yeah. Oh, interesting thing here. Jamie says, I love this movie. What is this stream? Well, it's just great movies. Thank you for joining us. We've not been around long, but we like just talking stuff about really great movies, you know. There's a new series coming up soon, and it's just solid B's, and I'm looking forward to that. So let's crack on with this. Got a long way to go. So Peachtree's Madeline Madrigal. She looks totally different there. But Lena Headey, I find she is just naturally beautiful.
She's been a criminal for a long time. No scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell this is just a photo from when she was in the system before she became a lawyer. I was honestly just surprised that they were able to take such a beautiful woman and make her so ugly. Like, there's some people that are just so pretty that you could never think that there would ever be a time where they look terrible, and somehow the Dredd makeup department did that.
Absolutely. Lena Headey looks ugly inside and out in this.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's done with subtle touch. Like, when Charlize Theron played Eileen Wuornos in Monster, there was heavy, makeup and stuff like that to uglify her. Lena Headey, like what they did was just simple touches, and it's I would argue more impressive.
It's certainly more transformative, I would have said.
I think it's just she's a victim of her circumstances. That's what's made her ugly. That's what's made her hard. That's what's made her the person she's become.
Totally agree.
Well, and it's also how she's carrying herself. Like even that photo before she's all scarred up, she looks. There's something cruel behind the eyes that's very much apparent. How she's carrying herself is adding a lot to it. It's really good acting.
She pulls it off well, and apparently she used to pull her clients off really well too at one point.
Family friendly.
Yeah. So this is Mama all scarred up.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's just something about. I mean, I didn't particularly like her in Game of Thrones. I mean, maybe that was just how good an actress she is because she pulled it off in such a way nobody liked her. Here we go. This is where we start learning about the other gangs. And this is one gang she dispatched, the blue sector at the top. She's working her way down. Then you've got these guys here. These are your wannabe LA types. Hey, kick him in the friggin' balls. We're not going back to Mexico, SA. Crazy.
His face looks like my desk at detention.
He looks a bit like Rob Schneider, though, doesn't he? There.
So yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Fergie lives. And then the judges at the bottom.
Roberto Schneider.
And they all got dispatched by Mama.
Yes, but if you go back to the first slide.
Say when.
There we go. Arresting judge.
Ferguson?
Oh, Judge Francisco.
Chief Judge Francisco.
Francisco, yeah. Yes. Judge Silver. Yeah, I didn't notice it. Judge Magruder.
Judge Magruder. All chief justices from the comics.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Mama, when she acquired property, i.e. from battles with other gangs, and she'd take their soldiers and mark them up, which is quite interesting. Right, I like this scene. This gets quite interesting. It's like some ad hoc torture. So anyway, yeah, Mama clan levels 124 to 200 gang members, 167. Peyote Kings, that's it. ASA, kick him in the friggin' bars. And then the Red Dragons. You can do it. And the judge, Magruder looks like a Mexican wrestler. Does she? So anyway, by the time she was done, Mama had taken all over peach trees. This is quite an interesting bit here. These guys go to get high on Slo-Mo, and I love the scene of Judge Dredd. It's reminiscent of the James Remar Fergie bit at the Block Wars in Stallone's 95 version, Z. What do you think?
Yeah, it is a little bit with the horrible grotty apartments. You know, you're half expecting to go them, but all got the guns pointed out the fucking windows over the block, which is actually now 3 miles over the other side.
Yeah. But if you notice that, if I just go back a slide there, everything's really dull and boring. And then when you take a hit of Slo-Mo.
High contrast, man.
Yeah, the colour bias changes.
It does, absolutely. Saturations and blurs. I wish I'd seen this in 3D.
Oh, I'm not kidding, Zay. It was awesome. So anyway, Judge Dredd, he's on the case, pun intended, rings the doorbell, and decides to blow the bloody doors off, as he does. And look at this, all in slow motion because these guys are taking a hit. And the whole scene of the shooting and the real gore and violence is slowed down in such a way it's visceral, you know, and people are getting shot and you see the ripples in the faces. The one guy, fat guy, gets shot in the tummy and he wobbles like a bowl of jello. But look at Urban Era's Dredd. That screams Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Like this is such a great like evolution of like bullet time from the Matrix. We just need to get it in 360. Just combine those things. And you'll have like perfect action.
Yeah. Let me just have a quick catch up with the chat here. White Bear 2, hail matey, says, but you're already invested in the aesthetics of everything in this movie without having to cover a 40M backstory or taking you from the gritty tech settings. True. What else have we got here? Richard Ricard, this is Pulp, says, this movie is a well-crafted artwork. It is. And Sword in the Storm mentions what I mentioned a minute ago, slow-mo of that guy's belly when the explosion. Yeah, definitely. It's just so well done.
It
I
is.
love it.
I mean, you're used to people getting bits blown out of them in films like RoboCop, but it's there and then. It's instant. But to see it in slow motion,
In vibrant color.
yeah, you're absolutely transfixed by it. It's amazing effect.
So after all the shooting's done, they call in the crime. And this guy here in the lime green t-shirt, he's very, very important, what he thinks he is, to Marmar's operation. And they take him and they're going to question him and try and ring him for some information. You look there, he's wearing the mark of Marmar. And Anderson, she keeps scanning him a lot. And there's quite a few graphic scenes in this where she sort of like lulls him, thinking that he's got the upper hand in his own mind, and she's actually just playing him and getting him to slip his confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Now then, General Hooks, before he might have been General Hooks.
Is that who this character is?
It's
Yeah.
Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason.
No, but he's just I don't think he has a name in this movie.
Yes, he does techie. Oh, crikey. I will. Let me just have a quick look on IMDb. I did look it up earlier, but he's like tech. Oh, Clan Techie.
Yeah, but that's not really a name. You know what? He's not
More of a role.
Yeah, that's the role. But is this like a character from the comics or
No.
Okay.
He's just another victim of circumstance
Okay.
within Marmar's little universe. She actually poked his bloody eyes out, and he's been fitted with like Geordie LaForge eyes from Star Trek Next Gen. So Marmar with a right-hand man who's just down as Marmar bodyguard. But look at that. That's Donald Gleason's eyes in this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a deal of moisture in those eyes. And as a result of him having these prosthetic eyes,
Yes.
his eyes are just sore as anything. Poor git. Well, there are some proper ginger eyebrows. But he's good on a computer. If you want the latest movies, he can tell you exactly where to download them from. But he started hacking into the control systems of Peachtree's. And these are all the technicians. They're all lazy, sat on their asses. And Marmar's guys come in and shoot them all. And then he connects a device up to take control of everything. And then he puts on a really sort of convincing performance, doesn't he, to Sector, to say that they're doing like a war test of their systems. And that if there's any reports that they're to be ignored by all the services and the judges and whatnot.
Yeah, this is another callback to the comics. Each block has got its own city defense team who are in charge of protecting the block in case of attack or invasion. So they have access to anything they need to put the building into lockdown from any outside sources. I think this was primarily in place after the Apocalypse War.
Definitely.
But
I love the way this movie uses color because you have the judges and you have the city and the setting and everything feels like very dirty, very grimy, but a lot of the criminal elements and even like the slow-mo, like the colors really, really pop as though they're trying to clash with it in their own artificial way.
That sort of enforce that effect, isn't it? You know, you're getting that hit, and it's just like expanded your reality. White Bear 2 says, sub-shared and impaired. Awesome crew and chat. Later, Gators. You take it steady, matey. Ref says, and I like this one, Gleason's performance in this film was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
Very small performance, but makes an impact, especially when you understand, because Dredd only sees like good and bad, right? Like everything he assesses is through what does the law book say and what is the punishment.
Yeah.
And whereas Anderson kind of opens him up that not everyone is bad because they're bad. Sometimes they are just victims of a terrible circumstance. That is ultimately what Mama is, right? And why she's also an interesting female villain in that respect too, because she still has retained some monicum of femininity to her, but
Mm.
she's very much been crafted by living in kind of a lower class society, being a prostitute for so many years, kind of being pushed around every which way, like with the worst ways possible that a person can be. So
She's been spit roast from coast to coast. Bless her. Num says the minor characters in this are so well crafted, lift the whole movie. They do. They complement the movie fantastically well. So anyway, they're going to take this guy, and his name's Kay. They're going to take Kay back to the Hall of Justice and interrogate him. But Anderson's doing quite a good job here and there. So they get on the lift or elevator for our colonial cousins in the former colonies in North America. Next stop is the atrium, and they show you want to initiate war protocol. So, yeah, they've hacked into the control systems of Peachtree's, and they're going to lock the place down. So they're going to stop the judges, kill them, get Kay back, or do whatever. So, yeah, basically they're going to do a simulation as if there's another nuclear war with the Sovgov. That's, in the timeline of things, the Sovgov would have been already destroyed, wouldn't it, by then?
I don't know whether these would be in reaction to the atomic wars or whether they're in reaction to the apocalypse war, because you don't get any inclination about what the active state of the Sov block is at this stage or in any stage of this movie. In fact, I don't even think they're mentioned in the other Dredd film.
No, they're not. And it doesn't expand on its own universe either, because you don't hear about the Texas one or Mega City 2 or Brit-Sit. No. None of that. So
I had a question for those
Brit City, not Brexit, you tit. So Anderson and Dredd are taking Kay in, and he says, "Oh, you're still there, are you?" Bad move, because they start this war protocol, and
hold on, I think Gord had a question.
Oh, sorry, go on, Gord.
I was going to ask, for those who've, I guess, read the comics and whatnot, is this part of the comic lore and whatnot, that like some of the technology on like the computers and screens looks very analog? Is that part of this world that they maintained?
Yeah, I think they're a bit more advanced in the comics, but they the city blocks definitely have this sort of protection.
True. Yeah, because there's always the possibility of a conflict, either with another territory or
I mean,
else.
if one block is particularly starting something, the Justice Department can override the entire block and shut it down. So,
and they still got skateboards in the late 22nd century.
They never go out of fashion.
No. But they're going to regret wearing vests because they're going to get locked out. So the blast doors have come down. Dredd's in there, and it's just this really good. It's a really imposing feeling, and you get that feeling of claustrophobia at this point.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's why I can, like, I know that you guys kind of said earlier that it would have been nice to see more, but yeah, I think the film, again, self-contained stories, and had this gotten, sequel or a trilogy or something like that, then we would have had a chance to just, instead of having to everything connect like the Marvel movies do, you can have Dredd go on these contained adventures that all in a way still tie together without undoing or retconning what he's already experienced in the previous ones.
Absolutely. And just expand on what you've learned so far and get more of an insight into Mega City 1 when the inevitable TV series or continuation movie rears its ugly head.
Yeah. So that's why I can I can understand where you're coming from as fans of the comic, but as a viewer, I'm just like, no, this is like the perfect foundation if you wanted to expand this into something bigger.
It's a intro primer, everything you need to know to get you up and running for a much meatier story.
Yeah. I mean, it is good. It is self-contained. Now, Mama puts out a reward for the judges. She wants them dead. She's not putting up with it. This guy here, he basically runs like a chemist, and it's a first aid thing, isn't it? And he locks it off.
Medbay, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody just goes into like lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And Dredd's sort of like realizing he might be up the creek without the paddle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts making his way. Instead of like trying to get out, he wants to take on Mama and wants to start making his way up. But, you know, people are going to try and take Judge Dredd out. There's a price on his head now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a good use of the in-universe technologies that Dredd's got access to. Oh, I've just seen a comment here in the chat.
Do tell, do share, please, on
Skate
the big
or
screen.
Die. Now, that's a proper retro gaming reference to a video game called 720.
Oh.
I knew the guy who did the music to that game who sadly passed away a few years ago, Ben
Oh,
Daglish.
wow.
Yeah. He lived quite locally too. Sword and Stone, but everyone knows they had hoverboards by 2015. This is a great comment. Tank Tread says, this movie is better than the Stallone version, but the Alan Silvestri score is awesome. Yes, it was. I've never known him do a bad score yet, really. Maybe, you know, Ready Player One, but that's by the by. Drew Gordon says, Dredd gives the population as 800 million, so it's pre-apocalypse war. Do you agree with that one, Z?
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah, because it got really crunched down after the apocalypse war. Most of the
Oh,
city
wow.
destroyed.
Oh, man. So that means like we really missed out then on this expanding, because it sounds like there was a whole apocalyptic world war we could have seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Go
was
through.
USA versus Russia. It was quite immense.
Oh.
Dang.
And Sword in the
But,
Storm says, the tech in the comics was a very 70s view of the future. It was, indeed. Gord, you were saying?
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Oh, right. Okay. So we'll move on. And Dredd's basically laying down the law, no pun intended. And these guys are like, hey, don't worry, silly baby. So they go to try and take Judge Dredd out. But he's got a flash grenade, disorientates everybody long enough, and he takes these guys out. And Anderson sort of scans this guy a little bit.
Yep.
Because he's sort of he's like a bit of he's implicit in a subplot a little bit later on.
Yeah. Victim of
This is
circumstance,
Yeah.
you come to
Yeah.
learn. Yeah.
He's doing a bad thing, but kind of for a good reason. So,
For noble
Yeah,
intention.
it's necessity and survival.
Mm-hmm.
But
in Dredd's eyes, you've attempted to kill a judge. The sentence
Yeah.
is death.
yeah,
Simple
sentence
as.
is death. So these guys taken out, and they try and get back in here, but this guy's having none of it. So they're taking stock of what they've got ammunition-wise. I'm surprised Dredd's belt clip isn't loaded up with mags.
Well, I don't think he expected to be in this sort of situation. He's probably standard kit is probably enough for a day.
Yeah. How many? Because these are flexible rounds, aren't they? They can be one of many things.
Yes, but he does run out of ammunition as he's progressing through the block. So the shortfall is quite a plot point a little bit later on.
Yeah. Well,
They start by investigating what they think is something much smaller. So yeah, they are ill prepared for what is going on here.
Yeah. But I tell you something, that the shots are really well done. I like how this was filmed.
Oh yeah.
You know?
You can tell that Alex Garland had a very specific vision for this film, because this is a very simple plot when it comes down to it, but you can see how he's just thoroughly trying to paint a world for you, an atmosphere for you, using Dredd as kind of the driver to show you all of that. So even like the way, the color scheme, the lighting, every shot like this, it feels claustrophobic. It feels tight. It feels like you are in the judge's kind of shoes right now, struggling for your own survival and even comprehension of just how much is going on in this tiny space.
Yeah, Pete Travis was a well-established TV director, and he directed some episodes of The Bill, strangely enough. But he did a really good job of this film.
Absolutely. And you genuinely feel that they're about to be shot at and killed at any second.
Yes.
Right the way through
The
it.
tension is always there, no matter what is happening.
Remember that guy Anderson scanned about 6 slides back? Well, this is his other half. And, he's got a little girl and everything, and Anderson starts feeling a bit of guilt. Well, everybody's on the hunt for the judges. A bit of scannage going off here. And, yeah, there's that guy. I'm sorry, Derek won't be home for tea tonight. He's dead. which is kind of unfortunate. Anyway, we're going to take a quick little break to give our friends over at B-Sides a bit of a plug.
B-Sides has movies so good, it makes you want to kick your TV.
Oh, I absolutely love that. B-Sides every Friday on YouTube and Rumble with our very own Atom Gray. It's a fantastic show. Last week was immense. I actually stayed up for a little while anyway, for as long as I could. And I really did enjoy the show. And a lot of scenes of these inside the elevators, which I found were quite good. And I thought, well, what's the point of this? But it's like a marker of progression.
It is. It also tells you just how immense this block is.
Oh, yeah, 200 floors. And there's the blast doors shut. Mama's looking down at everything she owns. And that was quite a good shot when it was raining outside and you heard the rain hitting the window and she's looking out across Mega City 1. But here's Domo Gleason. He's downloading Pirates of the Caribbean for Mama. She likes a bit of Pirate Bay action.
That Jack Sparrow just hits the spot after so many years on her back, you know?
Look,
Yeah,
Mama,
definitely.
it's a pirate movie that I'm pirating. Aren't I clever?
Yarr. Atom Gray says, cheers, Trev. You are mon. Welcome, my friend. Cracking show last week, by the way. And it was, I even chucked him a few dollars as well.
Oh,
Nice.
I like supporting really good creators. And, I've supported quite a few over the past 6 months or so. I've gotten really into that vibe of, supporting everybody.
nice.
Which kind of reminds me, I'm going to rattle the tin just a little bit. I'll stick this on the bottom of the screen. If you want to support the channel, you can visit ko-fi.com/TrevRetro. Everyone who helps will receive a producer's credit at the end of the show. So if you chuck us a bit of cash to help keep the lights on, which would be greatly appreciated, then you'll be down on the production credits at the end of the show. Also, if you can like, subscribe, and share, and tell all your mates about this sad guy talking junk about movies, really would appreciate it, because every little helps. So Dredd's trying to weigh up the situation. Things looking a bit grim. Mama's keeping tabs on everything. And I like this. This, like so many films where they highlight the fact that CCTV has become very prevalent in modern society. They shoot out the cameras, Great. I just love it.
Proper old school.
Yeah, definitely. But I just love everything about this film. I mean, at this particular stage of the film, the claustrophobia is ramping up.
I'm kind of stunned no developer has attempted to make a video game out of this. Like, take a retro style video game where you're just literally climbing a tower, mowing people through would be so much fun.
That's a good point, actually. It's that's a good point.
All right. So anyway, Mama's getting to the point where she's just going to start mini gunning the hell out of a level of the peach trees, just to try and get Dredd and Anderson. And this is just bizarre because these things, I don't know what caliber they are. Nine-Night Sword in the Storm is off to bed, apparently.
Oh,
Thank you for joining us. They just obliterate everything in the path. And I thought this was quite harrowing, really, because she doesn't care about the lives she destroys in getting what she wants or, achieving what she needs to get done. She's very focused.
Again, this is really, really subtle character building here, which makes her actually like a decent and compelling villain. Woman who's just been treated like nothing, therefore ends up treating other life, innocent or not, as nothing.
Sorry, slight miscommunication and misunderstanding. Sun and Storm's not going anywhere just yet. He was explaining why you can't stay up for B-sides. You can always, sorry about that. You can always get it on the re-rub. I watch a bit and then I re-rub the rest, you know? But, you know, the amount of people getting mowed down by these strafes and rounds cutting through everything, they just eat concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody who's in the way, you toast.
Sure.
And she's even having a go. Look at that. She takes pride in her work. Oh,
that's like the most positive emotion we see on her face for the entire film when she's mowing down people.
Mm-hmm.
But look at that. The amount of errors from the sensors on that particular level.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows you how much that artillery is taking out of that floor. In fact, I'm surprised it didn't cave in. But they even end up going out onto the skateboard level. High X. Oh, look at that. I love that.
I like that.
I don't know what half of that stuff is, but...
amp, inches, helium.
TMI, too much information. Or is that TMJ?
I thought it was FML.
Oh, no, it's FMJ, sorry. I read it wrong.
Oh, so that's the model then, FMJ.
I don't know, but High X, I love it. You know, even they were consistent with the naming of the rounds as well, and all the ammunition. So Dredd's having it's funny. He walks. I might have just given the game away a little bit, but they end up on the skateboard level with options of getting out. But you know, Mama shot the shit out of this level.
Yep.
And you know, they start checking through the rubble at all the damage that they've created. And the thing what got me, and we'll be maybe seeing that in just a second. Dredd gets some comms. He manages to finally get a signal out because they've been blocked in and shielded by all the blast doors and whatnot. But Dredd sort of like walks out. He's got Marmar's bodyguard, and he just chucks him over the edge. Doesn't even think about it. Just gone. Adios, muchachos. LA, baby.
Kind of shows that he and Mama are really just two sides of the coin.
Oh yeah, they're like opposite. Well, they are opposites, aren't they?
Polar opposites. Yeah, like he wouldn't have thrown that person over the ledge if he knew that it was an innocent person. But because it's bad, it's justice to him, whether that life exists or not, because they are inherently bad or doing bad things.
Well, and there's a part. Yeah, and there's a part that, if you remember earlier when I brought up that when he saves that one woman, he's kind of dispassionate about it. There's a mirroring scene early on, right before those guys get checked over. Kay suggests, hey, should we hit him with some Slo-Mo, make it last? And she's just like, sure. It means nothing. She's just like, yeah, whatever, fine. It's very dispassionate.
Ref's done his own work here. According to IMFDB, the concept designer for this movie said that the miniguns were loosely based on the G-Cal, and we're using 50 BMG shell casings, except we made ours 6-barreled. Well, if you're going to go all out, you've got to go out, haven't you? You've got to do it in style. So Marmar's a bit shocked at the fact that she's just had a right-hand man chucked over the edge.
Oh, one second. Definitely a gator. He's got all of the short forms there for us.
Yeah.
While we're on the gun.
So Dredd gives Kay a bit of a slapping around, and she starts digging around in his mind. And he's like, "You're in my head now, baby." And he thinks look at that. You can tell he's gone from like that into the mind realm, shall we say? And there's a good bit where she goes in his head and she makes him piss his pants, which I thought was quite funny, really.
Yeah.
But he's got her naked. She's like, yeah, and she turns it around on him, and there, look, he wheezes himself.
May I just add?
Sure.
I like Anderson quite a bit as a female character. Like too often, when you get these similar roles of kind of women in authority or like law sort of roles, they tend to they've been described as having the training, but then in the story that we see them enter in the film, they seem to have lost all the training.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed that. We know she's been trained as a judge. We know that this has been a long thing. We know that her powers have been something she's had since a child. And despite all of the things that she's experiencing for the first time here, she never forgets that training. But at the same time, she doesn't abandon her own moral code or how she sees the world. So it makes her just for a newbie, she's a very balanced character in this world and actually complements Dredd quite perfectly in that respect as well.
I
Yeah.
like your assessment of the situation there. Just going on to this, definitely not a gator says AP, armor penetration or armor piercing, HE, high explosive, FMJ, full metal jacket. Of course it is. Duh. Oh man, I am such a derp.
Yep. I got the FMJ wrong as well.
Yeah. Yeah, was that you, Gord, or Z, what was going to say something, but me being rude and stuff, I talk all over everybody. I do
Wasn't me.
apologise. Was it you, Z?
No, I just got back.
Oh well. Anyway, let's crack on. So, yeah, Mama starts threatening Clan Techie. She's got like a big, like an Alaskan fish cutting knife, hasn't she, on his gut?
Mm-hmm.
So
Ouch.
anyway, these two judges turn up. They can't get in. But if you notice, look, the armour on the shoulders, while not as hyperbolous as they were in Stallone's 95 Judge Dredd, you've got the eagle one side and the other bit, not quite as big as the comic or in the Stallone movie. But I like it. It's a bit more realistic. If it was in real world, that's what it would be like.
Yeah.
And then they'd like say, "Oh yeah, we just had a bit of a fire." It says over the intercom, Clan Techie, and the judges look up, and yeah, that corroborates things. That's the point where Dredd and Anderson got out onto the skating level. No, there's the two young lads come out, don't they, and say, "Freeze." And Dredd's like, "Why? What? Why would I freeze?" It's like, yeah, and crikey.
It's interesting. Again, you can see that there is some sort of like line for Dredd. He knows that these are children. He immediately sees that these are not hardened criminals like the one that he threw over a ledge and everything. So I do like that. Yeah, he might be like the other side of the coin to Mama, but there's still some human good, some emotional good there.
Just a quickie for Z. What's
Yes.
the line here, which is straight out of the comics?
Oh,
You know it, don't you?
I do. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Juve Cube. Yeah?
Thinking.
Juve Cube.
The Juve cubes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He threatens them with Juve Cubes.
How do you want it, kids? Body bags or Juve cubes?
That's it.
That's it. So there are separate prison blocks for juvenile delinquents because there are so many of them.
Oh, wow.
So they're called the Juve cubes, where anybody under the age of 18 gets incarcerated until they're an adult and they go into an ISO cube.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
MC says, agreed at me. The uniform is more grounded in reality. I do believe that, yeah. So anyway, we carry on trudging through, trying to make the way up to Stun. Semi. I'm not saying anything about Semi, but he's got a stun round in there, and he takes these lads out. And he looks like he's got some force lightning coming out of his dick.
Family-friendly channel.
Unlimited power.
Yeah. Well, at least I said dick. I didn't say anything remotely rum or rude. So anyway, Kay grabs hold of Anderson. Oh dear, bad move. So he's quite clever here because Anderson's still got her hands on the gun. But if he grabs hold of that, he's going to be in a world of hurt. Because as we know, anybody who isn't a judge can't actually pick up a lawgiver.
Well, they can pick it up, they just can't fire it.
Or have much of a hand left by the time they've done.
Exactly.
Well, this is palpable, this scene. When he's got her, and he's going up to 200, right into Mama's lair. She's cacking it there, and it actually looks quite genuine. Although she's got a massive hair up her left nostril.
No.
You should have plucked it, love. It's not a good look, that, Olivia.
That's why she needed the helmet. Then she could avoid doing all that grooming, you know?
Yeah. And another scene of the interior of the elevators or lifts, whatever you want to call them. Yet again, it's that element of rising up. So, floor 200, heart of Marmar's clan, and Anderson's dragged through. Look at that. There's even like a really vicious looking, you can tell that's a South African dog, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to bite you.
A real dog. Not the sort of thing you'd see. They'd have robo dogs in Megacity 1.
The dog says, I'm going to bite you.
That's actually pretty good.
Woof, woof.
I know. My name is Bruce. I'm a dog. And I would bite your face off, man.
Fucking prawns, mate.
I knew it was coming.
Hey, that's 2 for you, Vex. Any more? And you be fucking prawns, man. Fucking hell. Oh, Vickers, just, I don't know. You've got that down to a T.
We gotta do District 9 one day now.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that. I likes a bit of Blomkamp.
Oh, yes.
I love this. Mama says, what makes you think you were so important in the first place? But Domo Gleason here, crikey, those contacts must have hurt.
Yeah.
He looks a
Some big
mess,
ones.
doesn't he? I wonder if they had to make his eyebrows even more ginger than what they actually were.
I think that might just be the makeup department, in all honesty, doing that work for us. Look at how red his eyes are. I think that just washes him out even more. So,
Oh, look at this. Ref says, that dog's definitely earned his WAG card. Get out.
Actually, one person in the chat, they asked a question that I was curious about. So it was Movie Master 222 said, asked if Anderson could see, why didn't she see that coming when he took her? And that makes me wonder, it's like, is her power something that she can turn on and off, or is it just constantly going?
Well, she's not like a super duper psychic like you'd see in the X-Men. Psychic abilities in this realm, they're in their infancy, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a given thing, is it, Z?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You sound like a ponderer.
I am pondering.
Our Swiss counterparts, the ponderers.
My assumption was it was just something that if she was going to dive into somebody's mind, that was an intentional act. It wasn't something she's just doing all the time to everybody she's around. It's like I get the sense that
It is in the comics. She tends to be targeted. She does the
right.
puts her fingers on her forehead, and that's an visual indicator that she's trying to read somebody's mind. Where in this is a lot more subtle. And her powers as well. She can only feel things and see certain images. They're a lot less pronounced than they are in the comics. Where she could just corner a perp, put her fingers to her forehead, and go, "The other guys are inside. There's 3 of them sitting down." But in this, you can only get flashes and feelings of what's going to happen. And I think that really works to the story's advantage by not giving them too much of an advantage as they go through the building.
Yeah, Melv makes a good point. I'll stick that on the screen. Good point. If Anderson's so good, why didn't she warn Dredd before they went into the building? Yeah, why didn't she pick 6 lottery numbers out, or 5 for tonight's Euro Millions?
actually,
I like this.
oh, sorry.
So I was just going to say, Dredd's getting on the intercom for the whole building, and he says, "Mama's not the law. I'm the law."
That's a good Dredd
Gotta
voice.
get that. Gotta get that line in a Dredd movie. Not, "I'm the law." What? "I'm the law." Can't
Did you like
understand you.
Rocky?
Did you like Rocky?
Urban based his Dredd voice on Clint Eastwood.
Yep.
Yeah, very
You can
Dirty Harry.
Definitely see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's good though, isn't it?
It is very.
We're going
good.
to have a
Great
whip
voice.
round as well and get Vex a t-shirt on that says, "Did you write Rocky" on it?
Oh,
If
I
you
would love
know,
that. That
you
and then
know.
on the back or on the sleeve it says Aspen Penal Colony. as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
You like that tickled you some at Chronic last
It's
week,
so,
didn't it?
it's so ridiculous of all things. Like I'm just gonna start laughing all over again about it now.
Yeah, but at least it's cheered you up. You're in a good place. Aspen Penal Colony. Somebody was having a laugh there in the writers' room, weren't they? Did you write Rocky? No.
I wonder if that was one of Stallone's rewrites, actually. Oh, we need to add in a prison. Oh, it's a comedy? Aspen Penal Colony. Oh.
And like you said last week, Z, not a mention of an ISO cube.
Exactly.
Weird. So Dredd set himself up to look like he's in here. Oh, pardon me.
He's also put the entire building on notice that if anybody tries to stop him, he'll consider them an accessory to her crimes and they'll receive the same sentence. And the sentence is death.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good indicator that people need to stay the fluff out his way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good old Melv. You can always rely on him. Did he write Rocky? I think he did. And one for you here, Vex. You can read this one out.
Aspen Penis colon.
Nice.
Humor of a 10-year-old.
Yeah, you've got to have a bit of toilet humor on this channel.
Juve cubes for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Just don't send me to Aspen, that's all.
It's a colony full of penals.
Yeah. An ass pen, is that like a sheep pen, but full of asses?
It's the other thing you can put in your prison wallet if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not where you're
prison wallet.
Yeah, that's where you keep your donkeys in the ass pen.
Yeah, did you write Rocky? Oh, dear. Old Sly Stallone, he's a one-man stroke, isn't he?
Oh, this is where he fires the incendiary grenade.
It
This
is, yeah.
Glorious.
This is like one of the best scenes. They all think they've got Dredd in here, but no, he's on the balcony either across the way. He looks like he's higher up, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, like one floor.
And he fires an incendiary round. Oh, just look at that lawgiver. And he fires that, and it gets about, a couple of meters away from the edge, and then it splits off like some really high-tech ordnance. And these guys, they're toasty. They're like, you know when you're playing Mortal Kombat on the Genesis, and that guy sticks his head out and goes, toasty! It's a bit like that.
Dredd would be a great additional character for like Mortal Kombat DLC.
He would, yep.
Yeah. Well, on that last one, was it 11? You could play as RoboCop and the T-800 and all that stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I can't afford a modern
T1000
console.
Yeah.
I wish I could afford a modern console. Then I'd probably be playing
start
stuff like that.
a GoFundMe so Trev can play the latest RoboCop game.
No, it's a cost of living crisis. People have got more important things to give the money away on.
I just love how the fire's reflected in his eyes as he watches them burn.
Yeah.
And he's just so indifferent about it. It's like, well, you criminals, tough shit.
You had it coming. Creep.
I wouldn't even say it's like an indifference thing. Like, this is just, I see this every day. This is nothing to me. You deserve this. It's either this or an ISO cube, right? So,
Or he's
like,
just assessing and like,
That too.
okay, worked on him. Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Effective.
Ref says, the question is, did the lawgiver know when to explode the round, or does Dredd do that remotely? No, it's programmed into the ammunition. If you think about it, it gets to a certain distance away from the gun, and then it like goes pop, and then it opens up and blooms the extra incendiary rounds out. But Dolmall's looking at this. Oh, sorry, Clan Techie. And he knows he's going to get it off Mama. He's like, shit, I'm going to get it here. I'm dead meat. I wonder what she's going to take next. But this is a stunning, I mean, at least at night time, these shots are quite stunning.
They are, yes.
Oh yeah.
It makes up for the lack of not being on canon. But anyway, we've got 4 judges heading towards Peachtree. Judge Lex. I was surprised when I saw that name because he was actually a judge in the comic strips, if you remember. Do you remember, Z?
I don't remember Judge Lex, but I'm sure he was. But there have literally been hundreds and hundreds of judges.
He was quite regular in the newspaper strip. if you remember that. Was it in the Star? Or was
might
it the
very well
Mirror?
have been. I mean, the other judges I don't recognise in here either, Judge Kaplan and Judge Chan.
Hmm.
I'm sure they've probably appeared somewhere in the law, but there are just so many of them.
Yeah.
Alvarez rings a bell.
So many great people contributed to that whole story, That whole universe was meticulously built up since 1978.
Are they not making Dredd comics
7.
anymore?
2000 AD still going, I think.
Yeah, 48 years strong.
Nice.
Wasn't it original a branch out from Eagle?
No.
I got it in my head it was.
No.
Anyway, the two judges what were checking out the issues earlier are met by 4 other judges, and they're like, you can't get in there. And Lex just pretty much says, open the doors. The doors just open up. And he says to these 2 guys, you might as well chuff off. And they do. It's just so implausible.
You think at the very least they'd call it in?
Yeah. It did at that point look a bit more like a fan film in certain areas. And there's some great fan films out there, like Judge Minty.
Yeah.
And he's done
one as well is very good.
The Strontium Dog one, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's Lex and the other 2 judges, and they say to the guy who's the med tech, what's crack-a-lacking here? But boom, there it is. Boom, there it is. He got what was coming to him in the end. Have you got a splitting headache? Try high eggs.
But you can see they've done another lift shot, but each time they do one of these lift shots, it's a little bit closer to the top.
It's about that progression, isn't it? You've got to, like Marmar started from the top down and Dredd started from the bottom up. So Marmar's a top, Judge Dredd's a bottom.
Not for long.
Not for long. Lawgiver. So Lex is negotiating with Marmar for a bit more cash. Hang on a minute. Let's see. Rickard says, wait, there's a Strontium Dog fan movie? Yeah, do a search for Judge Minty. And he's got some he's got 2 on there and a bunch of like the making of kind of videos.
Interesting.
And some of it was filmed quite locally to me in Rotherham and Sheffield. One was done at the Judge Minty one. There were some scenes filmed at Magna, which is like a science and technology kind of thing. Oh, here's where things start getting a bit brutal. Let me just go back one. It's open season on Dredd again. Ammunition low. Semi-automatic. It tells you how many he's got.
Yeah,
6 armor piercing, 3 incendiary, 2 high explosive, and 6 FMJs, full metal jackets. For a minute there, I thought it said FML, but I'm not going to say what FML stands for.
Full Metal Life.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jamie says, I'd like to see Jason Statham play Judge Dredd. Nah, I don't think he could pull it off, to be fair.
He'd never let his face be covered that long.
Yeah.
The bald head is iconic at this point.
Yeah, Melv says the Strontium Dog fan film is called Search and Destroy, I think.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. A bit more on that. Ricard says, Search and Destroy a Strontium Dog 2000 AD and Star-Lord fan film. That's the one, Judge Minty. Yeah, you've got it. It's well worth a watch. And there's a good scene in that where Strontium Dog incinerates somebody right down to the bones and brings them back and interrogates them and then just kills them again. What's the matter, Z? What are you grumbling at?
I remember him using that in Star-Lord.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's called a time drogue, where it just like reverses time for a very short period. So you can interrogate somebody.
It's like the Omega 13 in Galaxy Quest. It can rewind the time for 13 seconds.
Yeah, but it's only locally in that field to the person that you've killed, and when you switch it off,
yeah, that's it. They're toast.
They're dead again.
Yeah. What a way to go. Being brought back and then deaded again and unalived and restored. And where did you hide your DVD porn collection? I'm not telling you, man. A couple of rounds of evaporation and reintegration, that'll make you talk. But this is a good scene, like on a gangway, where Dredd's talking to Lex. Oh, no, it's not Lex, is it? It's one of the other ones. And a bit of a scuffle ensues. And this guy, he's toast. No match for Dredd.
Oh, he says something. What's the throat line that he says?
Yeah, it's like it catches him out. Like I didn't call it in. Isn't it? It's something like that.
It was one of those lines that, like, typically if you were to hear it, you'd be like, oh, that's so corny. But because Urban's delivery is so just like powerful and intense, you're just like, oh, it's funny, but I would not want him saying that to me as I'm dying, you know?
Now then, Mel says there is indeed a Road Trooper fan film. I think I have seen that before, but I wasn't overly impressed. Jamie says here, is ABC robots in Judge Dredd universe? Yes. And they are indeed, from the ABC wars. So Mama and whatnot have got all of Judge Anderson's bits and bobs. And he just tries turning things round on Judge Anderson. But he's not a very bright lad, is Kay. Because as we all know, if you're not on the DNA ID database with Central, things are going to go a bit pear-shaped for you. And look at this. Boom! There it is.
Now give that man a hand.
Yeah.
Disarmed.
Yeah, literally. But that's such a powerful scene. Sorry, you were saying?
I was going to say, I was on a stream talking this movie a couple of weeks ago, and Jay Goodwin brought up that the question of whether or not these criminals should be aware that these guns have this function. I mean, I was like, I could see some maybe ins and outs to explaining that away, but I thought it was a good point. I thought, but at the same time, I was like, how often are judges disarmed and criminals get their guns away from them? But yeah.
I mean, they might be very good at killing judges and never actually found themselves in that situation.
This is more realistic to canon, though, because you pick a lawgiver up and it will take your arm off. Whereas in the Stallone one, you just got a bit of electric shock, even though you were dead. Melv has very kindly found the link to the Road Trooper fan film. There you go. You can find that over at YouTube. And he's got one for the Judge Minty fan film as well. I'm guessing it's the Dredd one, even though Minty did do the Strontium Dog one as well. Yeah, so Kay's armless. Well, he is now. And Anderson sort of like makes a bit of a break for it. And Mama, she's starting to feel the pinch, really. And this reminded me of RoboCop 2. You know, Kane's nuke factory.
Kane.
Kane! What's the matter, Murphy? What's bugging you? Kane's bugging me! We're going to have to do RoboCop 2 soon.
Oh, yeah.
It is in the pipeline.
It is an absolutely terrible film, but it's Frank Miller. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and well, Irving Kershner again, doing the old sequels routine. I reckon it would have been different again, obviously, if Verhoeven had directed the sequel. But then again, I think he felt the script wasn't on its own merits this time round. Brian makes a very good point. Producer Brian says, it would make for a right shit scene if they knew the gun would explode in advance. True.
Well, no, I was saying that like what Jay Goodwin's point was that he would never have tried to shoot it at her in the first place. He would have just killed her some other way.
Yeah, if he'd got any sense about him. So we're in the heart of the facility, or the level where Slo-Mo's made. And there we go. We're getting ready for a bit of a showdown between the judges. Legit versus the corrupt. And it's quite interesting. I noticed the other guy's trying to do like the Dredd face, Z. You noticed?
Trying to look as mean as possible.
Well, this was quite a good scene. I like this.
I like this as well. This is like when they blow out the windows in Die Hard. it shows you the key character's vulnerability. They've not got unlimited plot armor.
Mm.
They are in fact human and will die and get injured just like everybody else.
Yeah, they're susceptible, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Have I been here before? No. But he's got a high X left and he takes this guy out, which I thought was a really good scene. That just looks so convincing.
Mm.
Wow.
Well, as convincing as you can think it would be, because obviously none of us have ever seen a man explode like that before.
No. The Trash Picture Show, thank you for joining us. The irony that Dredd was such a big influence on RoboCop, the behind the scenes shows the design almost looking like RoboCop. Also, RoboCop 2 is awesome sauce. I agree, I like it. You know, everybody's got to have a guilty pleasure now and again. Tom says, kitchen scene in Nikita. Yeah. Now you mention it, that's a good call. I like that. So anyway, judges versus judges. And good job, Anderson's psychic, because she reads right through this chick. And she gets it. Judge Chan is Judge Dredd now.
Judge Chow Mein.
Yeah. But Lex gets one in. He can see Dredd's shadow around the corner. And he shoots Dredd. That's not going to stop him. And there's this whole great monologue like, oh, you're so in love with this. You're so married to this way of life. You know, you need to sort of like get over it and all this kind of malarkey. Monona says, Scanner's head explode. Yes, I actually saw something the other night about that. It was a papier-mâché balloon filled with cranberry juice, dog food, and they shot it from behind with a shotgun, which, from a practical effect perspective, is quite a novel way of doing it and making it look convincing. Obviously, Michael Ironside had to have a shower after that scene. Hey, what's that in your ear, old Mike? Oh, it's dog food. What have you been doing? But I like this.
Wait for what?
Wait
for me to change my mind?
Well, he says effing mind, doesn't he? If you remember, he gets quite mad at Dredd.
We're a family show, though, Trev.
Yeah, no, we're toning it down now. We've gone legit. We had to eventually. But Lex gets it. Piff, paff, puff, he's dead. He gets shot by Anderson.
Wait for backup.
Yeah. Mama at this point, so oh dear, she's not best impressed. Because there's somebody knocking at the door. Who is it? It's the judges. Well, they get to the tech bit first. And Dredd gets hold of Clan Techie, but he gets scanned by Anderson. And, she discovers he's just a victim in all this. And he gets away. Good on him. So he gets the code off Anderson's mind reading. And they get to access Mama's inner lair. And they start taking out the bad guys. And Mama, she's got a bit of a trick up her sleeve. To look at her in profile there, she does not look at all like Lena Headey. They've done such a good job on her. But she puts on this monitor thing. It's like a life monitor, which is wired up to some explosives. If her heartbeat stops and that light goes out, the top floors of peach trees are going to get blown to smithereens. Dredd doesn't care about that, though. He just takes her out, shoots her. And, a few shots fired, and 1 or 2 deaths ensued. It was an older model. The Hyperdyne Systems 128-2. Well, that was always possible with the A2s. They always were a bit twitchy. And there's a great line here. And she's basically saying, you're not going to shoot me. Because if you shoot me, the top floors of this place are going bye-bye. But, it's Dredd. He's the law. He doesn't care. As long as justice is served. But he thinks, screw you, shoots her, and decides to dispense a bit of his own justice on her. And he does it in good fashion, really. I mean, he looks proper Dredd there, doesn't he?
Oh.
Yes, Trev, he does.
He'll be back. Yeah, he'll be back.
Has he nipped off to the little boy's room? Has he gone for a tinkle?
Possibly. He said he'll be right back.
All right. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. Anyway, that's my bad. Oh, what's this? Ricard says, I need to rewatch RoboCop 2. Everyone hates on it. Well, I don't. I think it's a great film, but I loved it when I was an adolescent. Well, that says something about my taste. Yeah, well. Yeah, it's a good film. It does get a lot of hate.
That's a bit of a stretch. It's good. It's an okay film.
Yeah, but it's one of those you had to be there. It's in the moment. It's stupid. It parodies itself, something chronic. So anyway, Judge Dredd decides to dispense some really sort of retributional justice. He gives Mama a good old tug on some Slo-Mo. She's had a vape, really. Special effects.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that effect kicks in. I like how they change the contrast, and the bias goes from like a matrixy green to like a bright orangey yellow. Just look at that twinkle in her eyes.
Yep.
Like she's got her first punter queued up. So anyway, Dredd gives her the old heave-ho out the window. And I love this. With all the glass and all the lighting effects and the CGI here, this is just fantastic. It was even better in 3D. And Dredd's like, see ya, wouldn't want to be you. And I love this. You see it like in real time going down the center of peach trees, and it looks like vroom, she's just out of sight. She's just terminal velocity, but she just does this so delicately, and she's aware she's coming to the bottom. Sticks her hands out, and her face just splodges.
Oh yeah.
And it's done in such a beautiful way. Is somebody all right? Because somebody made a right noise then.
Oh, yeah, that was me. I was just like orgasming at her face exploding on the floor.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I just wanted to also point out, I like that we didn't get to see like those other 3 guys she threw off the balcony get completely dismantled. Like they saved it for this, where it is so much more satisfying to see despite being so grotesque.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the most beautiful shots of this movie are the violence. It's really, really awesome.
I think as well they've slowed it down just to illustrate how violent things are in Mega City 1. This is like, oh, for God's sake. Oh dear. Oh, you're butt with a coconut.
I don't remember this scene in the film.
No, I don't either. But it had to happen. It doesn't happen very often with Restream. At least it's a lot more reliable than the Duck of Death, is it? What they call it? What did they call it?
The what?
StreamYard?
Yeah, the what?
Yes, Duck of something. Duck of Doom.
Never heard
Somebody mentioned it on another stream, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good name for it, really. So anyway, he's making his assessment of Judge Anderson. Oh, hello, Help Desk. Just joined us in the chat. Tonight, the chat, you've been absolutely spot on. A lot of new names and faces in there, and it's good to see people in there conversing about just really great films. Just great movies. So Anderson's getting patched up. I like the scene as well where Dredd just squeezes some goo into himself, and it seals him up.
Sorry, he does what?
He gets shot, doesn't he, in the drugs factory? Oh, you've got a dirty mind, Vex. Dirty, dirty girl.
Off to the Aspen penal colony with you.
Yeah. You're in an Aspen ISO cube for 8 months for severe crudeness.
I'll tell you, worth it. It's worth it.
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? Do you know where you are? And you'd be like, what's up? Aspen Penal Colony.
Lol.
No Slo-Mo.
Yeah. So Peachtree's has opened up again, and they both sort of like come wandering out, and she's quite curious to know how she's done. And, she gives Dredd a badge.
Well, she wasn't curious. She already knows how she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a mind reader.
Mm-hmm.
So Chief Judge says, well, what do you reckon? And, doesn't he say she's got potential?
So she's a pass.
Yeah.
Even though she did everything basically wrong in the official book, again, she opened his eyes to seeing things a little less black and white. The law is
Yeah.
not necessarily black and white, which is, again, why she compliments Dredd so much, is he didn't give up any of his
Oh, for
what is it?
goodness
Of
sakes.
of his goals or anything. But
Do you want to read this one out from Internet Help Desk?
are you saying Marmar just killed a man, put a gun against his head?
Oh, dear. That's good. I like that. Nice. Hello, Help Desk. I hope you're well, matey. But, back end of this film, yeah, there's kind of like wiggle room there and a setup for a sequel, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Completely open for another installment of this.
But
And
also thorough enough that this film could stand completely alone, which also, yeah.
there is that, yeah. And then Dredd rides off into the Mega City 1 freeway and out there to find more crime because, after all, I'm just a street judge. What?
My place is on the streets.
You ain't lucky. No. Shut the fuck up. I wonder if anybody ever actually told him on the set of the 95 Stallone Judge Dredd, if they're just sick of hearing him. You know?
Mm.
So, Judge Gord, your thoughts? Is this just a great movie, or is it a stinker?
I mean, I absolutely think this is a great movie. I mean, I can't judge it as like an adaptation of the comics because I'm not much of a comic reader myself. But I think, like any good act, it stands on its own, but leaves you wanting more. I think the flaws it has are, for the most part, pretty minimal. I think it has really good defined characters. I think it has a really interesting balance of stakes. Whereas, like, this is a relatively small scale conflict, but it still manages to, no pun intended to the actual building they're in, but the stakes kind of keep rising and rising and rising, and there's a really interesting
I
progression.
think that's a good analogy. I like that. I like what you did there.
Yeah, but yeah, I love this movie. I actually think this is one of the best comic book based movies out there. So yeah, I would probably rate this something like a 9 out of 10. I love it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just
What?
we've had a donation to the channel
Oh,
Holy moly.
from
thought
Paul
you-
Dickinson, who sent us 10 humane pounds.
Well,
So thank you ever so much,
congratulations.
Paul Dickinson. You will receive your producer's credit next week on our Battle Beyond the Stars stream.
if
Swappers is really excited about that. He messaged me loads of times today. Is it today? Is it today? No, Swappers, it's next week. Yeah, but can't you do it today instead? No, it's next week. So between me and Swappers, we kind of call this Space Tits with Handlebars because of the Akia Corsair, which is Shad's ship. You know, it kind of does look like a pair of breasts with handlebars.
Interesting.
So, yet again, Paul Dickinson, thank you very much. The first person in 6 months to show some support for the channel, and I'm really bowled over. Thank you.
Financial support, because all these people watching and commenting are also supporting the
Exactly.
channel.
Exactly, yeah. Well, it just bowls me over sometimes. You know?
I understand. It is a nice feeling. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm digressing. Judge Z.
Yes.
Just great movie? Yes or no?
It's a fantastic movie, and I thoroughly regret not seeing this in cinemas. It was only out for a week, and then it flipping vanished out into the nethersphere. If it ever comes back to my local multiplex, I'm definitely going. This is a 9 out of 10 adaptation. My only bugbears really are just the portrayal of Mega City 1 and the vehicles. Other than that, it's spot on. It's everything you want from a Judge Dredd movie and more. Ignore the 1995 version.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Dredd for you, 100%.
Oh, yeah. You've got to admit, the 95 is just, it's getting bums on seats and people munching on popcorn. It's just you just have to disengage your brain. I mean, if you've never read a copy of 2000 AD, you could watch 1995's Judge Dredd and enjoy it for what it is. You know, it's just Hollywood pap. But if you've read Judge Dredd and you've read it for quite some time, and then, you know, you kind of, it irks you in some ways. But like me and Z have both said, there's certain elements of both films, and I can't remember who said it in the chat, but, you know, if you mesh the two together, you know, you would get the perfect Judge Dredd film. And I think now is the perfect time for a studio to buy the rights to doing another Judge Dredd film with Karl Urban, whether it be actually on the silver screen or the small screen via Amazon, because they've been talking about doing a lot of things as Amazon, but they've never actually, there's been no follow through on anything.
Commit.
Yes.
I think those the Amazon one was actually a rumor because what's his face? Eric Kripke was supposed to lead the show, and then he came out like 2 days later. It's like, this is all just a rumor. I haven't been talked to about any Dredd thing. Karl Urban hasn't been talked to about any Dredd series. So I think that was actually a rumor.
Yeah, so it's weird that, because I'm sure I read somewhere Urban said, you know, he's committed to doing the final season of The Boys with Kripke, and then he's, you know, he's free to explore other options.
He's never been quiet about saying that he would come back to being Dredd. He loved being Dredd.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Since this movie, he's been saying that he's ready for a Dredd movie, but I could see him saying like, "Oh, I got to get The Boys done," but that's fine. The Boys, their last season is this year, next year.
Yeah. Interesting comment in the chat from Rickard, who says, an acquaintance of mine thought the Sly movie was so much better. We're not on speaking terms any longer.
ISO cubes for that person.
Yeah, definitely. Ref says the 95 version shall remain in my childhood memory where it belongs. You know, they're all good films. I mean, we like this. I mean, me and you, Z, we like this universe.
Oh, yes, love it.
And at the time, 95 was your only outing in the world of 2000 AD. So, yeah, we appreciated it for what it was at the time.
Yeah, but then this came along and blew it out the water.
It did indeed. And I've just been reminded of something. There was a screenshot that I meant to have put into the system, because there was a bit of a chat going on in the chat before the show even started. And this was a couple of days ago. The Rodent says, posting this now as I'll be at work when it starts. The Raid copied Dredd. Dredd was filmed in 2010 and sat on a shelf for 18 months. Raid did pre-pod and post inside 6 weeks of 2011. Oh, wow. Dredd then got funding in 2012, meaning Dredd is unfavorably called the copy. The reason Dredd sat on a shelf was low funding and had no cash after filming for licensing or release. The script for Dredd was leaked, sold to the producers of Raid, who fired cash at the project to rewrite the film it and release it inside of a few weeks. Dredd is the superior of the Raid's. Dredd is superior to the Raid's pile of plagiarized shite. I am done.
That's crazy.
Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 comments from the Rodent, who's a newbie to the channel. So thank you for that. I did promise to read that out. We've got 5 minutes left of the show. What is your judgment, Judge Vex?
This is the law. No, this movie is awesome. Again, did a 180 on it. A very simple story. I think whether you're just in it for kind of like a high octane, fun popcorn flick, you'll enjoy it. If you're kind of like all of us here and you enjoy finding the deeper meanings and symbolism in film, then you'll also love it. I don't know. This is a movie now that I can just watch like a couple times in a week and still be mesmerized by what it manages to balance almost flawlessly. Like, it never feels like a character or an idea or a subplot is sacrificed in order to build up some other element and make sure it shines. Everyone is given their justice on
Yeah.
the screen. So, and this actually makes me more interested in checking out the Dredd comics compared to that awful Stallone movie. To be like,
Definitely.
yeah, that
MC
Stallone movie is
says,
just terrible.
MC says, Dredd and The Raid are both great films. Melvin Deeply adds, there's zero evidence that the script was leaked to the makers of The Raid. Well, I defer to your judgment there.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that. Even when
no,
I was looking
I
for
hadn't.
trivia for my own channel, I never had come across that.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure Alex Garland said he doesn't believe it was ripped off. Like he doesn't seem to be bothered by it.
Well,
Even
he should know.
then-
He wrote the film, so
Right.
Yeah.
Even then, it's like The Raid. It's a similar concept, but the execution is very different. Like to me, when I just remembering The Raid, because I also haven't watched that since it came out. But it was more just the aesthetic and setup was the same, but other than that, it's quite different films.
yeah, definitely. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. You've been absolutely fantastic, and I've enjoyed conversing with you tonight. I'd like to thank Judge Gord for joining us for the first time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. This was a lot of fun. Always love talking movies, especially the good ones.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. It's just great movies here. That's the name of the game. It does what it says on the tin. Judge Z, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your judgment tonight.
Always a pleasure, Judge Trev, and great to do both films back to back.
Definitely.
Mm.
And
This one definitely the superior.
oh yeah. Well, I did promise you, and you've asked, and I've been very, forthcoming in providing, because we share very similar tastes in what we like, me, you, and Melv, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, we got some great movies to come.
Definitely. In fact, going to play a bit of a trailer quite shortly. I'm going to say thank you to you too, Judge Vex, for your judgment tonight.
Oh, it's always a pleasure judging movies. I am the
In Aspen Penal Colony. I went a bit Arnie there. I do apologize.
You did.
And on that note, thank you everybody for joining us. We're wrapping up a little bit earlier tonight, but I've got something that'll make it well worth your time. Next Tuesday, the 17th of June at 9 p.m. UK time, check out the Just Great Movies review of Roger Corman's 1980 American space opera, Battle Beyond the Stars.